I grew up in Montreal. I've lived here almost my entire life. I only left to go to school, but I've lived here for. I grew up in Côte-des-Neiges. I live in NDG now, and it's not something we've experienced before here. Really, a little bit, but not like this. It's unsettling, and to see the police. We had cavalry in front of our community center in Côte-des-Neiges. It's surreal.
Israel is my home, the only home I have in this entire world. When they are chanting from the river to the sea, I want them to know that my family lives between the river and the sea. So your chants mean genocide for me. It means that my family and my people have no place in our holy land. It means they will be wiped off the map. This is genocide.
So here, Alexa for Ribbon News, and I'm in Montreal. We are the 16th of November, and behind me, as you can see, there is an event for Bring the Hostage Home, made by the Jewish community. So I don't know if you were aware, but last week the Jewish community was victim of multiple anti-Semitic attacks against not only a yeshiva that was shot by bullet in the front door, not once but twice for one of the establishments. They had like a Molotov cocktail thrown in the front door of a synagogue, and I want you to show some image of their last event that they planned here in Concordia to show their respect to Israel and to ask to bring the hostages home. Look at some crazy image of the interaction between them and some anti-Israel people. So following those events that you just saw some example, there is a massive police presence to make sure that this event is fully secure. We will talk with some people, so let's check what they have to say to me today.
Never imagined that coming to Concordia would expose me to the worst anti-Semitism I have ever experienced in my lifetime. I could never have imagined that a group of people would hate me so much without even knowing me, just because I'm a Jew. My name is Michael Itzchaek. I'm a student at Concordia, and I'm saying no to anti-Semitism and any type of hate on campuses.
It's important for me to be here today to stand against anti-Semitism and to stand up for the Jewish people being held hostage in Gaza right now.
But it's really important for me to be here to support the students on campus, the Jewish students who are feeling intimidated, who don't feel comfortable among their student friends and their professors, who are being very anti-Semitic.
Personne n'est insensible. Les Français vraiment ont été choqués depuis l'attaque du Hamas du 7 octobre. Les Français en France, mais aussi à l'étranger. Et face à ça, on réagit tous parce qu'on ne peut pas ne rien faire. En France, vous l'avez vu, il y a eu des manifestations. Le 12 novembre, il y a eu 180 000 Français qui ont défilé dans les rues. Et à l'étranger, les Français se sont réunis à Bruxelles, à New York. Et ici, je suis présent pour exprimer un message de soutien, notamment contre l'antisémitisme.
We have a state of Israel and we want to protect the Jewish people and make sure that we commit to keeping our home, which is Israel, and that people should understand that we need a place to exist.
But how can we live in peace when we realize that to stand here, we need to be surrounded by so much police? How can we, when we can't even use a table at our university and not get attacked in 15 minutes? And the problem is that no one can promise us that it will never happen again.
And I was here last week on Wednesday when the fights broke out, and there's videos, and we're doing our doing our rituals, and everybody's yelling and screaming in the background, and we don't care. It doesn't bother us. We're here to be proud of Jewish identity, as you can see. Last week it was a lot harder than this week. This week we have security, we have police. Last week was a little bit wild, but we were there the same way, same idea.
Bring them back home, the 240 children, elderly, mothers, fathers, and grandparents. Bring them back home now, and Am Yisrael Chai.
A very intense altercation, and I would like to thank every one of you who came out yesterday to show your support, whether you were there to purchase kufiyas for charity, or whether you were simply there to show our numbers, to show that you are standing in solidarity with us. We terrified them.
You know, when people say, oh, we are terrifying them and we are scaring them, it's important for us to show that we are not scared, we are resilient, and that any time somebody tries to do something to incite fear or to scare us into not saying something, we want to show, no, we are here, we are stronger, and we are louder than ever before. And it's important because there was that video going around of this lady in front of McGill saying, we terrified them, and they were proud of that. So it's important for us to show, no, we are not terrified, and we are actually going to be stronger and louder, and anytime somebody tries to silence us, we will come tenfold more.
2023 is not 1943. Today we have a state, and we have every right to protect it. I hear a lot of people on the other side yelling for a ceasefire, and I would like to say something. On October 7th, at 6:29 a.m., there was a ceasefire. A minute later, Hamas have decided to break it.
We are concerned about importing a conflict into Quebec, and we don't believe that there has any place for it. Supporting Hamas is a problem. Mm-hmm. Supporting Palestinians in their need to combat Hamas in what they've done, we were in support of that as well. We're all on the same page because we support Palestinian rights to live as well as Jewish rights to live in coexistence. So for us, it's not an issue of Palestinians versus Jews. It's an issue of a terrorist organization, Hamas, that perpetuate crimes against Israel, against humanity, and we don't want to see that in the streets of Montreal. It's got to end.
I grew up in Montreal. I've lived here almost my entire life. I only left to go to school. But I've lived here for. I grew up in Côte-Neige. I live in NDG now, and it's not something we've experienced before here. Really, a little bit, but not like this. It's unsettling, and to see the police. We had cavalry in front of our community center in Côte-Neige. It's surreal.
I think it made me really upset to see that there were Jewish students that put together a beautiful display for the hostages, and people came and destroyed it. I've never seen that amount of hatred on campus, and it's quite upsetting to see.
Police has been amazing supporters. They have helped the Montreal Jewish community in every way possible. We are mothers, and our children are in Jewish day schools. We drop off our children. There's police cars. There's security guards that we pay for, that our schools pay for. There's volunteer parents that are surveilling the schools. It's a horrible feeling to have to drop off your children not knowing if they're safe. No other community in Montreal have to face this, and it's a terrible feeling.
Throwing Molotov cocktails. This is insane. No mosque, not a single mosque, not in North America, not in Canada, not in Montreal, has ever been facing any sort of Islamophobia that we've been facing. There's no hate like the hate that the Jews have to witness. Shootings in our high schools. My friends went to those high schools. It's insane. I was shocked.
The term Zionism really means a Jewish yearning to return to our ancestral homeland and to have our Jewish state. We only have one in the world. It's tiny, and that's all it is. It's not about pushing people out. It's not about being a colonial state or a settler state. It's about having a place for Jews to feel safe and be one. So when you are anti-Zionist and you're anti-Israel, you are telling us directly that we should not have the right to exist as a people. So it is anti-Semitic by nature.
So what it is that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. There is no difference because us Jews are the people of Israel. So when you hate Israel, you hate us. When you're talking from the river to the sea, my family lives from the river to the sea, and that means genocide for us. That is genocide. You guys are, throwing words like ethnic cleansing and genocide. My grandparents went through ethnic cleansing. You don't just throw those powerful words like that. if you're chanting for genocide, you're beating your whole point. You're showing how violent you are and how much hate you have.
I mean, I have lots of family that lives in between the river and the sea, so I really wonder what that phrase means, but I think it is quite understandable what it is meant by it, and I'm not happy about it.
They are literally asking for the annihilation of the Jewish people, nation, the only Jewish nation in the whole Middle East that is surrounded by 27 Muslim countries, the only tiny little dot on the map.
I think we have to recognize two things. One is, as the IRA definition of anti-Semitism will tell you, you can't differentiate between Israel and Jews. We are one. We are people with an indigenous land that we have indigenous rights to, and that is our land. At the end of the day, we want to have coexistence with Palestinians. Having an anti-Israel demonstration, as long as it's peaceful, is okay. But once you call from the river to the sea, Israel bordered by the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, you're calling for the annihilation of Jewish people, which, by the way, is in the Hamas charter. You just got to read it. So if in the charter of Hamas it calls for the annihilation of the Jewish people, that's the core of the problem.
We want to show our support to the Jewish community and make sure that they understand that we stand with them. So go over CanadaStandWithIsrael.com, sign our petition, and also make your voice heard if you think that we need to support the Jewish community in those dark times.